Welcome to the IPF World Championships here live in Druskininkai, Lithuania. I am Ryan Lapadat, accompanied in the booth with Amelia Potter. And Amelia, today we have the women's 63 kilo class and the men's 83 kilo class.
Powerlifting is a sport composed of three main disciplines called lifts.
They are in order: squat, bench press, and deadlift.
Each athlete has 3 attempts with 1 minute per attempt to start the lift.
There are 3 referees.
And each of them give a white light in case of a good lift.
And the red light in case of no lift.
The athletes are separated by weight, sex, and age categories.
The sum of the best attempt of each lift forms the total. And the athlete with the biggest total is the winner.
In case of the draw, the lighter lifter wins.
The squat is the first movement you do in a competition. Squat is used in virtually any sport that you will find in the world. Probably because it is the one that activates the most muscles in your body. You use around 200 muscles when you do the squat. To then perform the squat, you lift up the bar from the rack and walk out 3-4 steps and get ready in a position that is best for your body. You bend at the knee and your hip, and you go down till below 90 degrees, and that makes sure that the squat is a good lift in the eyes of the judges. When you're watching competitions, especially things like IPF Worlds, you see people lifting the most weight that you've ever seen probably in your life. For example, it can go from the lowest weight classes doing around 169 kilos all the way up to 318 kilos and probably more in the future. For the men, you can go from the lowest weight classes doing 240 kilos for their squat records, all the way up till 478 kilos for the heaviest men, and these are likely to be broken in the future. Such a great feeling to feel like you have finally showed all the effort that has gone to that specific lift out on the platform in front of everyone. It's very nice to get that encouragement and feel that you're inspiring others who are watching you.
The stage is set, the crowd is ready. Amelia, the battle for the 63 kilo World Championship is about to commence.
And we are in for quite an exciting fight. Alba Bostrom of Sweden coming in hot and heavy as the favorite. It was the first time she competed in the Opens 2 years ago at this very venue in Lithuania. And that was the last time she opened on bench with 115 kilos. And with some changes of rules recently, that's what she's opening on today. We can see here recently, her most recent competition, 17.5 kilos up from that. So looking a lot closer, Chiara Bernardi of Italy chasing close behind should Bostrom make any slips. And then a big fight for the podium overall.
Yeah, I think coming into this, a lot of people thought the defending world champion, Alba Bostrom, was a heavy favorite, but judging by her bench opener, it might be a closer race than people anticipate.
We have Ione Maguregi Rodriguez from Spain opening up for us with 165 kilos. comfortable start to the competition. First squat always a little nerve-wracking in any case, but to lead out the prime time, composes herself nicely there. And that is a good lift, 3 white lights.
And the battle has begun. Yeah, the first squat, getting that out of the way, getting yourself on the board.
Betty Abor from the Netherlands, current deadlift world record holder, reigning junior world champion, now in the Opens and a definite podium contender. Has that big pull on her, opening here with 165 kilos. The heaviest we've seen her open.
Betty was a junior star, world champion, moved into the Open, grabbed the European title, and now vying for the Open World Championship.
And being the heaviest we've ever seen her open, she's moving it well today. This is her chance at an Open World podium. Let's see how she'll fare. Leah Maman from Canada, opening here with 167.5 kilos.
Leah can hit as heavy as 182.5 kilos. She's got a lot of room here. Big flight from Canada. No need to press super hard in the opener. Well, what do you think, Amelia?
Yeah, it's a little tougher than I expected an opener to be, but having not seen Leah lift so frequently, perhaps she is that style of lifter. Not every lifter is quick off the go. We've seen people squat slow from the start and continue on that way and keep adding kilos. We'll have to see how she goes there in her second. Clara Isabella Heiberer from Germany, 170 kilos. Was a well-known strong lifter in the 57s as a junior. Has moved up to the 63s now, 3 years into the Opens.
Has broken national records back home. Depth looks good. Wow, that's a nice bar speed.
And she is on the board, 3 white lights. And that's what you come to expect from these A-flight athletes. Clean, easy opening attempts, a weight they're more than comfortable with. Romy van Vianen from the Netherlands, 175 kilos. Big 1-2 punch here from the Netherlands in this flight. Only country to double up in the 63 A flight.
Another nice smooth opener. And the big tell will be how these lifters adjust to the second round. We're moving fast.
Yeah, it's a very, very quick flight. They're going to have to adapt. And coming into the competition, they knew they'd be in a flight this short, so perhaps have adjusted their training accordingly. 180 kilos for Makita Vidal from Great Britain. Potentially in the fight for that podium overall.
Nice, calm, cool, collected on the way down. Hits depth with ease. No major struggles needed.
Yeah, extremely well controlled. Almost tempos the bar down.
No question on depth whatsoever.
Now the 2 top contenders we have out for the final two opening attempts. Chiara Bernardi from Italy, 187.5 kilos.
And Chiara, a junior world champion in the open last year, really pressed Alba right down to the very last deadlift, an old rivalry. Can she do the same today? Nice opening squat.
Yeah, and we've seen Chiara push through some big grinds and squats, so if she needs it, she will have it. And with Bostrom dropping her bench and not knowing what that will look like, the gap is much closer than Team Italy would have anticipated.
This is also relatively where we want to see Chiara open up.
And our final opening attempt, Alba Bostrom, the favorite to win, 197.5 kilos for the Swedish lifter. The world record stands at 214, held by Leah Bavois from France, and has stood since 2025.
Reigning world champion. Makes easy work of 197.5.
And 2-1, a good lift. That far side referee just calling her depth. So we'll have a look at that again in the replay. This is the angle she gets that depth call, Ryan, and let me know what you think of that.
You know what, it looked okay to me, but 2-1, it's good.
And that concludes the opening round of squats. All lifters with a squat in on the board. We have Alba Bostrom leading there with the 197.5, followed by Bernardi and Dao. As we head into the second round of squats, kicking us off, Yone Maguire Rodriguez, 172.5 kilos. Opting for a 7.5 kilo jump here, and landing her just 2.5 below her personal best on her second attempt. Still moving really comfortably, and big smiles from Yone.
Depth on point, and the ladies establish the strike zone.
Betty Abora from the Netherlands, 172.5 kilos, a 7.5 kilo jump. 5 kilos off her best here, so pacing well, and she's going to need to collect all the kilos to push for that bronze overall. She hit 177.5, her top end, the day she took the junior world title in Costa Rica last year.
Nice second attempt. Now the question is, does she take 7.5 kilos? Is she looking at 10?
Maybe even looking to match that personal best, hit what she did before, secure those kilos. Do you have a route that you think would be smart here, Ryan?
I like to trend on the side of caution. Sometimes when the race is this close, it's whoever reaches and overreaches misses a lift and falls back to their second attempt.
Leah Maman, Canada, 175 kilos. Another 7.5 kilo jump here.
Yeah, well, this is definitely something off with the Canadian today.
Yeah, and we did say after her first, perhaps it's her style of lifting, but after seeing that second attempt, you're right, Ryan, it certainly seems a little bit more like a strength issue.
There's a lot of things you could do in terms of technical touch-ups, but you're not going to get a lot stronger. It's going to be very difficult for an injury to heal that quickly. Not sure what she's facing.
Romy van Vienen from the Netherlands, 182.5 kilos. 7.5 kilo jump.
That's what you want to see. 3 white lights. Netherlands moves forward.
Clara Isabella Hebra from Germany, taking a huge 15 kilo jump to 185 to her second attempt. This is a big jump, Ryan. Let's see how it works for her. It's 2 kilos above her personal best. Making a statement.
$15-kilo jump, 2 kilos over what we assume is the national record back home. But it is IPF Worlds, and if you're going to make a move, this is where you do it. Wow, okay, looks like a second attempt should.
And listen, if those are the kind of jumps she's making today,
Ooh, spoke a little too soon. Let's take a look at this replay. Now, this was the angle the ref gave her depth, and we agreed.
so we can see here the opposite of that as well, where she didn't get the depth. Actually, and that looks okay to me, even
Same.
that side getting the red, but
See what the jury says. They can intervene in her behalf.
in the meantime, Makita Vidal from Great Britain taking a 10 kilo jump. Looks like no dice for Hebra. Just 3.5 kilos off Vidal's personal best here. These ladies really pushing themselves on that top end. As I mentioned, Vidal in the fight for podium, so going to need all of those kilos moving forward.
Solid second attempt again. Not losing form. 3 white lights. No major signs that the end is near.
Chiara Bernardi taking a 10 kilo jump to 197.5 kilos.
Now, sorry, go ahead.
Pacing herself well here.
I was just about to say, so last year's Worlds, she matched her all-time best total 560, left the squat event with 200 kilos. If she's pacing there and abouts, 200 kilos, maybe a little bit more. She's hit higher, but she's also been higher body weights. Looks good. So her biggest squat was hit not on the day she had her biggest total. She just needs in and around 200 kilos, maybe a little bit more, and can still pace for that top end. Looking at Alba Ballstrom's bench press, if that comes down, you see the pathway.
Speaking of Alba Bostrom, here she comes for that second attempt of 205 kilos, which would be a matched personal best. Here on her second, she did get a depth call from the right side referee on her opener, so let's see if she can avoid that again here on the second. And the weight is certainly comfortable for her.
Yeah.
And this time a red from the center referee, but it is a good lift nonetheless.
In terms of pacing, 205 is what she left the squat event with when she hit 582.5 kilos at Sheffield, her biggest total yet.
And we head into the third and final round. Bostrom leading the squats with 205, followed by Bernardi and Vidal, with still one final squat to go. Now Leah Maman, Canada, retaking the 175. Looks like a strength issue on her second here, Ryan. Let's see if she's got it now.
Yeah, difficult to tell what she's feeling, if she could work around whatever. Oh!
A completely different lift.
Goodness! depth for sure. And talk about heart on that young lady to turn it around on her third attempt. And sometimes you see this from these lifters. That's why you make prime time at the IPF World Championships. You're just at another level. Not even a breakdown in form.
Yone Nagoregi Rodriguez from Spain, 177.5 kilos. 5 kilo jump from her second here. What a fight there from Rodriguez.
Another titanic effort.
And a good lift, 3 white lights, a strong end to the squat event for the Spanish lifter. Perfectly executed. Netherlands, Betty Bora, 177.5 kilos. We thought she might look to match that personal best here to collect those extra 5 kilos instead of jumping too far and missing. Let's see how this moves. The second was a little laborious, so let's see if she's got a bit of a grind in her. She's going to want to save some energy for deadlifts as well.
And that really is her strongest, most potent weapon, is that deadlift. Not worth another 2.5 kilos on squat, risking it, emptying the tank and lowering that deadlift. Good choice by Netherlands. She definitely didn't have 2.5 more kilos in her. Perfect attempt selection.
And you can see the relief on her face when she stands that squat up.
That's why you do not get greedy when you're at the World Championships.
Especially when you're in a fight for position, it's not the time to push a personal best. It's the time to take as many kilos as you can in that fight. Romy van Wienen from the Netherlands following her out now with 185 kilos.
And we'll put a pin in that conversation when we get to Chiara Bernardi. And we'll double back at that point.
A great final squat from Van Wienen there, and another great example of not getting too greedy. She could have gone a little more to match or extend her personal best, but she took a 2.5 kilo jump here to ensure the kilos. Some good team points are going to be collected from the Netherlands in this flight. Clara Isabel Hebra took a 15 kilo jump from first to second, got called for depth. Takes 5 kilos more than that here on her third to 190. This would still be a 7 kilo personal best for her. Weight certainly was no issue in that second. Strong, but I'm a little bit worried still about that.
It's definitely on the line. 3 white lights. I know what you mean. It was going to be on the line whichever way it goes, but a unanimous decision by the refs. The jury will not be able to review that and intervene.
I'm glad to see it, and it definitely looks good from that angle.
Yeah,
I think a wide squat is always quite hard to tell. Great Britain's Makita Vidal, 195 kilos, 5 kilo jump, for a 1.5 kilo personal best, and picking up those extra kilos that will be crucial in that fight for overall placing.
She needed it. She knew she needed it, and nails 195 to stay in the hunt for that podium.
Some more sensible attempt selection there from Team GB. Two squats remaining from the athletes going head-to-head. Chiara Bernardi from Italy. Now, you spoke about this briefly before, Ryan. We thought 200 might be the safe choice. Opted for a 5 kilo jump here to 202.5. Is this too greedy?
Well, so she's previously hit 210, but left with a deadlift at 225. She's previously hit 205, and her deadlift got brought down again to 225. But when she left squats to 200, she deadlifted 232.5. It's a matter of taxing that deadlift. You're trying to find the balance. It's 202, that balance. And it just might be. That doesn't look overly laborious.
I was going to say, it doesn't look that hard. If anything, a little easier than that second attempt.
The Italians look like they know it. When you have a big deadlift, it comes at a cost if you want to go 3 for 3 and really extend that squat. This bodes well for Team Italy.
And our final squat in the 63 kilo ladies, Alba Bostrom, 210 kilos, just 4 kilos off the world record. 5 kilo jump from her second, and she knows she needs to pick up as many kilos as she can when bench is a little bit of a question mark right now. It's tough, but she gets it moving.
And Alba Bostrom responds. 210 it is. Last time she hit her biggest total, she left with 205. This is a 5 kilo PR. Yes, she might lose some kilos on the bench press, but can she pick them up on the deadlift and the squat?
She certainly did on the squat, and what a round of squats. All 8 lifters making their final squat attempt. Vidal walking away with squat bronze with 195. Bernardi walking away with squat silver with 202.5 kilos, and Alba Bostrom walking away with 210 kilos in squat gold, and we know that will certainly come in handy.
As we move directly into the men's 83 kilo class, the heavily hyped and anticipated showdown. Joe Borenstein defending his title against former world champion Jirins Kengamu. And last time we were in Lithuania, Jirins sprung the upset, clinching the title. Can he do it again? 255 for Kevin Fornstam of Sweden.
Very smooth opener for Kevin there, a good lift. 3 white lights, and another name worth mentioning in that fight is Ade Omisakin, a 1-2 punch from Great Britain.
Ade, twice now, has come so close to defeating Joe Borstrom head-to-head, narrowly missing the final deadlift. He's got a new coach in Marcellus. If he can hang on to that final pole, he will spring the upset. Kafui Hochoyame, 257.5, representing Canada. This will be Kafui's 6th World Championships, dating back to 2019, making his first World's appearance when he broke the IPF world record in the deadlifts.
Wow.
Makes easy work of that.
Very, very speedy. 3 white lights and pretty far off his top end, about 45 kilos off his best.
I got a story for you there. So he's coming into this nursing an injury. They want to take it easy on the squats, see where they're at. They can take bigger jumps if they feel like it's holding up. And then he's got a monster deadlift, serviceable bench. Mathis Ducret. 262.5. The French in the crowd rallying behind him. Very snappy.
Three white lights, a good lift. Happy to see some comfortable conservative openers getting those first squats in on the board.
something that might be part of the storyline. Ade Omasakin has body weight advantage over Joe Borenstein. Joe Borenstein has lot number advantage. And Jiren's heavier than both of them. Lot number advantage. And Aharo Asane, 270.
Another athlete you can never quite count out until that final pull.
Absolutely monstrous deadlift. It really is. He's pulling last. We all know this. What medal will he be pulling for? Only time will tell. Oh, that was a little wonky on the bottom, a little teeter-totter action.
Ooh, and gets called for depth from the center and side referee. Ooh, catch that on the replay. He was a little wonky, like you said.
I didn't think depth was an issue. I think it looks good to me. I think the jury agrees.
They're certainly discussing it.
5 people in the jury.
And they say just a little bit. Oh no, they've overruled it to a good lift there for
I agree with
Aharo.
that.
I
Yeah.
do as well.
I like to see sometimes they'll rule in favor of the athlete. Maggiano, 275, representing Italy. He has gone as heavy as 282.5. A little bit of work for that opener.
Yeah, a little tougher an opening attempt there.
He's motioning something to his coach. I would lip read, but I don't speak Italian. But he definitely felt something. Looked like he might have been surprised as well. Never loses form. Ade Omasakin, 282.5. If you've been following him online in his training, he's jogging side by side with Joe Borenstein, the reigning world champion. Oh, wow. Smooth opening lift.
We've seen him squat as heavy in competition as 310 kilos. So what does that opener say to that?
I had an opportunity to talk to Ade earlier today. He said he's never felt this good, had such an easy cut, no injuries, never felt this strong in prep. If this upset's going to come, it's going to come today, but he's got to get past this man, the reigning world champion, the first 83-kilo lifter to total over 900 kilos. But that comes with a bit of a caveat. He's never done so at an international event. And today, a lot of people believe if he's going to retain his title, he's going to have to. 282.5 for him as well. Look how close these gentlemen are, opening the exact same weight. Again, if this keeps this pace, Joe is the heavier lifter, and Ty goes to the lighter lifter, which would be Ade. And that looks good too, though, Amelia.
Yeah, it does. And he does get a blue from the far side referee if we catch that on the replay. And while we wait for the replay, it isn't as if he wasn't pushed last year when he took the crown as well. You know, the pressure was on then and the pressure's on even heavier now.
Not sure I saw an infraction. No, you're 100% right. Oh, it got overturned by the jury, and that is going to set Joe B and the Americans back considerably. Do they retake the weight, or do they move up regardless? Usually when you're in a hunt for the world title, you're forced to move up regardless. You have to keep that kind of pacing. Like I said, a lot of people projecting around 900 kilos. If you're going to end up around 900 kilos, that's a monster jump if you retake the weight.
Big questions in the coaching corner now. Just needs to clean up that finishing position.
290. Andreas Fernandez Arvalo of Spain, 3 white lights.
Not so unusual to see a fantastic Spanish squatter either. Really coming through as a nation of squatters.
Did Joe B not lock out his knees when...
So they weren't quite happy with that finishing position, whether it was him not being fully erect or his knees.
I think it was, if there's anything I could see, it would have been his knees.
Yeah.
And hopefully he understands that and makes the correction. Jirens Kingamo, crowd favorite, as you can tell when you hear this, 295. sprung a major upset 2 years ago, the last time the World Championships came to Druskininkai, Lithuania, in the exact same stadium we are in now. Can he do it again? Also worth mentioning, he defeated Joe B earlier this year at Sheffield.
Is it a case of muscle memory? Now he's back.
I'm sure Great Britain remembers. Oh, wow, he's the champ, the former champ, excuse me, pardon me, is on point. 3 white lights, no questioning there.
And when you see the reigning world champion miss that opening attempt, you know you have to put the pressure on.
Joe Bornstein moving to 295 for his second attempt. That is,
You've got to think it's a happy in between that first and second and third.
It's lighter than he's opened in quite some time. Last year's Worlds, he did 292.5. We expect he's going to need a bigger total this year. So, how will that all play out? $270. Kevin taking a 15-kilo jump.
Makes it look comfortable and only 5 kilos below his best there on that second.
One thing Team USA has to consider, this is sports, high end. You're not going to be the only one who misses a lift along the way. You don't want to get overzealous, make any calls under stress. 295, he could still keep pace close enough and win this. 275, Kafui Hachiyame from Canada.
17.5 kilo jump here.
Still pacing well below what he's previously capable of. When he hit 302.5, he hit 290 for a second, but again, wants to say stay semi in the pocket for the squat event. Makes easy work of it though.
Yeah, and you can very much tell that's well below his best. He looks extremely strong regardless.
And he's telling the Canadian coaching staff, not sure. Feels good, but it's going to feel good until it doesn't if that injury comes back. I'm sure it's tempting. 282.5 for Mathis Ducret. 20-kilo jump.
Another athlete here landing so close to the top end that we know of on his second, just 2.5 kilos below.
Yeah, Matisse has previously hit 285. You know what? I think maybe another 5 kilos. Tried a little softly. He doesn't look overly convinced himself. I think they're expecting that to move a little easier, if I'm reading facial expressions. 285 for Margiano. The Italian flag is out.
10-kilo jump here, already in personal best territory. The opener was relatively comfortable. Bit slower than we'd want to see an opening attempt.
We'll pay attention to that velocity. Maybe it's just the way he squats. Oh my gosh. Well, there's no question. Strong as a bull, but how much more can you add on to that bar? Again, another small jump, Amelia.
I would have to agree with that. It came to a dead stop. You can see here in the replay, almost pauses it on the way up, manages to get the momentum going again, but you're right, it's going to empty a lot of energy doing so.
$290 for Enahoro Asane. Nice 20-kilo jump, just 2.5 kilos below his previous personal best. And the scouting report on Asane, if he could build upon his subtotal and lower the amount that he needs to pull at the end of the meet, he could be a threat.
Opener was a little bit scrappy.
Considering 20 kilos. Interested in seeing where this goes.
It's a big fight, but it did look a lot tidier than that opening attempt.
Yeah, no teeter-tottering this time. Definitely solid work for a second attempt, and I'm thinking for a third, maybe 5 kilos. Telling the spotters, have faith in me. And faith rewarded. He gets to the top. Absolutely pivotal 295 for Joe Bordenstein. Honestly, from what I've seen, if it's anything, it's got to be the knees. Just stand upright. He's fine. 295 is nothing he can't handle. He hasn't had a second attempt this low in his last 3 meets. You got to go back 4 or 5 meets.
And you've got to think they wanted a higher second attempt, but they have to play it safe enough while still trying to keep the lead moving forwards.
Yeah, if he hits this, he's still in pace.
Can he tidy it up though?
I'm betting he does.
It looks a lot better on the
mean,
knees.
That's got it. 3 white lights, no issues, back on track. And honestly, if he lost any pacing, we're talking on the margins. When he totaled 892.5, his second attempt was 297.5. We're talking 2.5 kilos. Now, I get it. We're anticipating 892.5 won't do it today. He's got a pace closer to 900 kilos we're expecting. But a lot can happen. Speaking of 305, Ade Omasakin.
Already very close to what we've seen Ade hit on the platform, 310 kilos. 22.5 kilo jump.
Yeah, this is a very heavy second attempt for Ade. And it's work. You know what, Amelia, it's work.
Yeah.
Obviously he got it. 3 white lights, very clean. Not questioning that. What I am questioning, how many more kilos? I'm thinking 5 to equal his previous personal best.
Yeah, you've got to think a sensible, smaller jump here for Ade. Perhaps he just doesn't want to hit that top end too many times. But yeah, it looked like work.
And he needs that final pull if he's going to win. The hit rate against Joe B, historically, he's missing that final pull. He's going to need it here. So does he empty the tank in squats? Interesting how this is going to play out. 305. Andres Fernandez of Spain. Nice second attempt. And while we're talking about the bigger picture and the total placings with those, we do have battles for the medals, individual medals for squat, bench, and deadlift. And that young man definitely in that conversation.
Some athletes who know they're not coming for that overall fight will be coming for individual medals as well.
312.5 for the living legend, Jerens Kengamu. So many times he's been looked past and the underdog and sprung major upset victories. He is a living legend, capable of surprises. Does he have one for us today? 312.5 will help give an indication.
We've seen him squat 322.5, so 10 kilos off his best here in his second.
And when he did that 322.5, this was his second attempt weight. Looks like he's pacing. Strong. No major breakdowns.
And it's a good lift, 3 white lights, and a very comfortable looking second there for Jerens.
I think they're going to do the exact same as his previous outing at Sheffield, where they go up 10 kilos to 322.5 once again. as we take a look at the squats as they stand right now with another round to go, 312.5. But on the projected, and this is where numbers might lie to you, Ade, with that monster deadlift, if he nails it, everything changes. $280 for Kevin Fornstam.
He's been really confident in all his lifts so far. I think that was a perfect third attempt for Fornstam.
The bar is loaded.
287.5 kilos for Mathis Ducret of France.
Looking for a 5 kilo jump here, which seems sensible to me. The second looked like a little bit of work there.
We were calling for 5 kilos. The French agreed. This is going to be work. 50-50. Wow, you know what? That looked a lot smoother than I thought it was going to.
Yeah, another case of the third attempt looking a little bit more comfortable than the second.
And sometimes these lifters level up. Look, when Matisse left the platform after a second, he looked a little baffled himself which direction they should go in terms of a third. They put 5 kilos on, seemed sensible, and looked like he might have had a few more.
And 2-1, a good lift for Ducret.
290 now for the king in the north, Kafui Hocheyame. Below his 302.5 personal best, but 275. Very snappy, very easy. I don't think 290 is going to re-aggravate that injury. Fellow Canadian Brittany Schlater in the crowd cheering him on. One of the strongest women in history.
Lovely third attempt there.
Yeah. Good call. 3 white lights. Judging by the kiss, he's fine.
Does a really good job, I think, of getting everything he could out of the squat without aggravating that injury as well.
Speaking ahead of time, around 290-ish was always going to be the plan as long as nothing went sideways on the way to that. 290 stays on the bar for Maggiano of Italy.
Again, another 5 kilo jump that we anticipated really.
Yeah, 285 was a tough second.
275 was a bit of a tough opener as well, so.
We've seen people level up. Some of these seconds lie to you. Oh, wow, and he is just got so much horsepower. 2-1, it's good. And these lifters, when you were at the World Championships and you're called upon to find another level, you find it.
Unfortunately, the jury weren't quite happy with the depth and have overruled that to a no-lift, but a moral victory for sure.
Moral victory for sure. Tons of heart on display. He can be proud of himself. 300 kilos for Enohiro Asane. Look at the crowd favorite. Now, we thought 290 was tough. A little surprised they're going up 10 kilos.
I think he knows that even with a huge pull, he has to hit a decent squat and bench to be in contention for that podium.
It's fair, but you can't necessarily force the issue if it's not on the day, but let's find out. He is scrappy. Depth looks good. Oh my gosh!
Don't count him out, Ryan.
You just can't. I'd be delighted if they give it to him because that's a huge squat for Enohiro. 2 white lights and the Miracle Man. If he's got a subtotal and he's close enough, he will load up into the 400 kilo mark If he thinks it's there.
And you can see why he's a crowd favorite.
Turning naysayers into believers. 3:05 for Joe Bornstein. Joe has previously hit as heavy as 307.5.
So he's still managing to get around there about his top end.
And again, like, while the scouting reports thought you're going to need 900 kilos to win today, that isn't always the case. You're looking at Ade pacing for what he did previously. If Joe can keep the same pace, he can still pull this out.
It's not just about strength now, it's about maintaining the technique he found on the second as well.
Agreed. Yeah, that was the exact number they needed, and he knows it. 3:05 it is, and if they put on another 2.5, you were really risking it.
And in 2-1, a good lift. He does get a depth call from the center referee. He's quite a wide squatter, so quite hard to
That
see,
looks good.
but yeah, I would be surprised if the jury touched that.
I say hats off to Hawk and the U.S. coaching staff. They got everything they could out of Joe, despite the fact he misses opener, ends up leaving with the exact perfect number. 312.5, is that the number for Ade?
To keep nice and close to Jurens and Joe, let's hope so.
Now Ade's trying to break away here. 310 is his previous personal best. He knows it's on him to catch Joe B. If they keep pace to the previous showdowns, Joe B wins. He's got to make a move, and this is his move.
It's hard, but he gets it going. Ade Omasakin.
Ade Omasakin has made his move indeed. 3 white lights, and the battle is on. This is not like it was before.
It never was going to be a one-man race. There are 4 names in this fight.
So Ade's squad has come up. Joe B's squad has come down. And what will that mean come the end of this contest? World record junior squat, 315.
For the time being, this will pull Andres into squat gold with just Jurens Kingami to follow. At the very least, will secure him the squat silver.
Andres Fernandez Arvalo with 315.
Junior record currently at 312.5.
Oh, wow. Statement made by this young man. 3 white lights. And this is turning into a squat session to be remembered.
A new junior world record. With just one squat remaining, and Russell Orhe can sleep a little better tonight knowing no one's going for that squat world record of his.
320 kilos for Jurens Kingamo. 7.5 kilo jump from his second attempt. Just 2.5 kilos shy of his all-time best. This is obviously squat gold if he gets it.
And I've got to say, Ryan, he is looking healthy today.
Matt Gary, head coach of Team Great Britain. If anyone's going to help lead Jurens to an upset victory, likely that man. Not on the day. That's unexpected. That's a little unexpected. And you know what? The fact that Jurens didn't load up 322.5, I didn't want to read too much into it, but they had the decision. They opted to go down from 322.5 like we thought he might. 320, he might not be 100%, but early in the battle. Let's see how deadlifts go.
Like you say, people miss. That's 2 of the big 3 now.
As we look at the squats, 315 earlier. Look at this, Spain, 1-2 for gold and silver, and Ade Omasakin 312.5 for the bronze. In the projected, though, Joe Bornstein in the lead. Ade Omasakin looks like he's 20 kilos back, but I'm telling you, it's a lot closer than that. He is 1 deadlift away from a monster upset. And then, of course,
Powerlifting is a strength sport that involves lifting the maximum weight possible in 3 different lifts. The 3 highest validated scores are added together to determine the total score. Competitors are divided into a series of weight classes, from the women's under 47 kilogram class to the men's over 120 kilogram category. The squat is a multi-joint movement engaging the quadriceps, glutes, hips and hamstrings. The upper body carries the bar. American Jesus Olivares, weighing 186 kilograms, lifts 2.5 times his weight in a squat, which is 478 kilograms, equivalent to the weight of a show-jumping horse. Frenchwoman Jade Jacob lifts 188 kilograms, over 3 times her weight of 57 kilograms, which means she could lift a racing motorbike on her shoulders. With the feet stabilizing the upper body on the bench press is like a loaded push-up on your back, targeting shoulders, triceps, pectoralis major and anterior deltoids. In the lightest category, the women's under 47 kilograms, British woman Bobby Butters lifts 100 kilograms, equivalent to the weight of 16 racing bikes. American Jonathan Keiko, in the under 93 kilogram category, lifts 245 kilograms, 2.5 times his own weight, or the equivalent of the weight of a piano. The deadlift targets the abdominal, back and leg muscles, with the hips, quadriceps, hamstrings and adductors, especially in the sumo deadlift. Polish powerlifter Agata Sitko achieved the best performance of all time in the under 69 kilograms category by lifting 248 kilograms, which is 3.6 times her own weight, the equivalent of a pack of 3 rugby sevens players. In the men's under 74 kilogram category, New Zealander Timothy Monigatti deadlifts 331 kilograms, which is 4.5 times his weight, and the equivalent of 36 water packs. Powerlifting is an individual sport that is worked on in a community. The quintessential sport of self-improvement and becoming the best version of yourself.
Bench press is one of the 3 fundamental lifts in powerlifting. It's a push movement and you use your upper body strength. For me, it's like to discover different sides of myself as a person, as a female and as an athlete. You want to get you in a great position and have a great arch to protect your shoulders and make the lift a little bit shorter. And then you grab the bar and put your underbody back to the bench, press the bar up into the air and make a good lift. You have a benefit if you can use the leg drive and you use actually your foot and you push your upper body with help of your legs and feet through the ground into the bench. It's not straight down and up, it's like a G because it makes more easier to make force and the lift more effortless. We have 8 different weight classes on the female side in powerlifting, and the bench press record is from 107.5 kilos to 167 kilos. If you want to feel powerful, then you want to train bench press because it's such a great feeling to press something heavy from your chest and then make it. I bench 140 kilos. And how much do you bench?
And welcome back. This battle was heavily hyped and is already proving to live up to that. Amelia, what are your thoughts?
Well, we knew it was going to be a little closer than we expected. We can see here the opening attempts for these ladies. As we mentioned before, Alba Bostrom really bringing her opening bench down. At Sheffield early this year, for example, she opened 17.5 kilos more than this. Now, does that make the job a little easier for Chiara Bernardi? We'll have to see. Alba did come out with a personal best on her squat, really pushing in those areas, as right now the bench is a bit of a question mark, Ryan.
It is, and if she's starting that far back, where's she going to end up? And we seen last year at the World Championships, if Chiara feels like she's close enough, she will load up for the win. Last year she came ever so close. And the squats, well, close enough. Chiara has that base on which she could stand and build upon. Only time will tell.
Nikita Vidal for Great Britain, opening here with 97.5 kilos. Being the lightest opener, the second round we will already be 100 kilos and up for all 8 lifters.
And of course, Makita definitely close enough to contest for a podium finish. Just needs to keep applying pressure to Betty.
She's not so far behind Betty at all, but of course, Abora with that world record deadlift. Needs to pick up all the kilos she can here. And it is a good lift, 3 white lights. So we've discussed a lot about Alba bringing that opener down, but not so much why. There's been a bit of a reiteration of the rules recently in a style of benching that a lot of these lifters adopt, which is a sink and then a bit of a body thrust afterwards, and that's been honed in on a lot as we've seen this championships, and Alba was very well known for that style of bench, so she's had to adapt. Betty Abora from the Netherlands, 97.5 kilos. Has dropped her opening bench attempt here.
I think a lot of these lifters proceeding with caution due to those rule changes.
And of course, Betty with that big pull wants to try and cruise, I suppose, through bench press, collecting as much as she can safely.
She lowered her bench and yet struggled like that with her opener. Now, did she lower her bench due to the bench rules, or did she lower her bench because she's dealing with something?
I've got to say, it looks more like the latter to me, Ryan. That is a tough-looking opener, and I was worried she was about to dip it as well.
All of a sudden, Team Britain and Makita got to have a bit of a conversation here. A door of opportunity has swung open.
Romy van Veen then from the Netherlands, 105 kilos. Looks much more like an opener here for Van Vienen.
If we're being taught anything, expect the unexpected. Just when you think you have the script, throw it right out. It's getting rewritten.
Leah Maman from Canada, 110 kilos. Holding the Canadian bench press record back home, 121.5.
I spoke to her earlier this week. She'll bench anywhere from 120 to 130 on a good day. It's a reliable weapon. 110 is easy.
Perhaps looking at that lower end with that opener because of the bench rule changes. Ione Maguregi Rodriguez from Spain, 112.5 kilos. Just 5 kilos under her best here for her opening attempt.
It's bold. Not move like an opener should.
Does get a death call from that center referee, so we'll have a look at that in the replay, Ryan. First infraction we've seen here. Jury are leaning in. It looks pretty okay to me, but the jury unfortunately do not agree and have overruled that.
Yeah, if I'm honest, as how I would interpret those rules, it probably wouldn't pass. Chiara Bernardi.
112.5 kilos.
Very smooth, very easy. Definitely has adapted well.
Yeah, and you know what? Considering Chiara's range of motion, the fact that she can still reach elbow depth is really impressive to me.
Yeah. Now, I've seen her open up at 110, and her final attempt was 125. That's near top end for her. She's hit as heavy as 130.
Alba Bostrom now looking to answer some of the questions that we had earlier today. 115 kilos, a very light opener for Alba.
Yeah,
And I didn't see thrust to the body. What I saw was pure upper body strength. She does still get an elbow depth call though, so let's have a look at that. The thing is, she sinks to avoid the elbow depth, and the jury's instantly overruled that to a no lift.
that would pass for me.
And that is trouble with both Bostrom and McGregor Rodriguez.
The jury looks like it's okay with that as well. So, look at Alba has decreased her bench. What kind of jumps does she want to take? This is usually she grabs a lot of kilos in the bench press event.
This is the spanner we expected in the works, and Team Sweden probably did as well. Our heaviest bench opener, 115 kilos, equal to Bostrom's Clara Isabel Heiberer from Germany.
Historically, Alba would be about 10 kilos ahead of Chiara on bench. Now they're right close, neck and neck. Can change a lot of things when it comes time to deadlift.
Lovely clean opener from Heiberer and a good lift, 3 white lights. And the thing is, the issue wasn't the thrust. She sinks so she can reach elbow depth. If she has to sink any further, will she have to readopt the thrust and then get the bar moving again?
Or will it appear she's thrusting, but not really using a thrusting motion to get it up? I hear you.
We conclude the opening attempt. Bostrom and McGregor Rodriguez still without a bench in on the board. Fanciani from the B group still holding on to bench gold for the time being with 120 kilos. Getting much, much closer between Bernardi and Bostrom now as we move forward into the second round. And kicking us off, Betty Abora, 100 kilos. And boy, Ryan, that opener was a little tough.
2.5 kilos up. Obviously the only option you're going to take here. You got to wonder if she's going to take all 3. I think this might be a grinder. Unless she could sort something out, find another gear.
Wow, completely different. Never mind what you're saying.
Yeah, never mind.
Let's get a blue from the center referee if we have a look at that in the replay.
I still think another 2.5 kilos for her third, but not as bad as I thought it would be. There was a slowdown, obviously, right before lockout. But that is what a second attempt should look like. Her opener was not what an opener should look like.
No, absolutely not. But right back on track. Nikita Vidal, Great Britain, 102.5 kilos, a 5 kilo jump here.
And this is already a personal best.
Slow down there for Vidal, but a good lift. And already on squat and bench, she's above what we've seen her best. She's going to need to bring that today to put the pressure onto Abora. Now Yone McGregor Rodriguez from Spain got her opener initially, but the jury overruled it to a no lift on an account of elbow depth immediately and is retaking the same weight, which seems sensible to me. She's likely vying for a bench press medal, so making sure you get a bench on the board is important in that. That looks better to me.
Yeah. 3 white lights, the refs agree. And these ladies making all the adjustments they need.
And it's bittersweet, you know, getting it on your second. There's a huge amount of relief from getting on the board, as well as frustration of why couldn't that happen the first time round. 112.5 kilos for Romy van Vienen from the Netherlands. 7.5 kilo jump here. Pretty sizable jump. And that is a good lift. 3 white lights.
The bar is loaded.
Leah Maman from Canada taking a 7.5 kilo jump to 117.5.
She takes another 7.5. She's right in the middle of the 120s and in a good position to possibly grab a bench medal.
Let's see how this moves. It's pretty comfortable. I think 7.5 would be a bit of a flip of the coin for today.
5 is more assured. I agree.
The bar is loaded.
Now, an interesting call from Team Sweden. We know this is well below her top end, but chooses to go up 2.5 kilos anyway. Not a weight issue at all for Alba Bostrom, but goes up to 117.5. And it's a little stickier, even though not at her top end, but she's on the board.
I mean, just grateful she's still in there, 3 white lights, but that was a lot stickier, wasn't it? Just 2.5 kilos up at 117.5. This is well below what she's usually capable of. We've seen Alba hit as heavy as 140 kilos. This is interesting. Now let's see where Chiara ends up.
Chiara Bernardi, 120 kilos. And if she is, like you said, Ryan, able to push the kilos in the bench press, then come deadlifts, it's going to be very, very close.
It's reminiscent of Joby and Ade, where she needs to level up like Ade does and catch, because previously, exact same scenario, she loaded for the win and missed, just like Ade versus Joby.
Can she handle the pressure? Looks like it.
And that was smooth, very clean. I see no one, one infraction, spoke too soon.
And she gets a depth call from the center referee. The jury lean in to watch it. Not an immediate overturn, but we'll have a look at the replay.
That looks good to me.
It looks about the same, and the jury have overruled it, unfortunately, to a no lift, and it's not what you want to see, especially if you're in Team Italy. Clara Isabel Haber, 122.5 kilos to move her back into the bench press gold position here. 7.5 kilo jump. And they've chosen to retake Team Italy. Would it have been worth putting a little bit more pressure on there and taking that risk in this instance?
I'm uncertain. If they think they need to make any adjustments, maybe they think 120 is heavy enough.
A little sticky off the chest there for Hebra. And 2-1, a good lift with a depth call again here from the center referee. We've just seen the jury get involved for Bernardi, so let's watch for Hebera. And unfortunately overruled to a no lift for Hebera as well.
I was going to say, that looks worse than Chiara's did, and Chiara's didn't pass.
And we head straight through to the third and final round of bench press now. Abora 102.5 on the bar.
Now, are we going to get Steady Betty here? This is 102.5. She's hit 105 before. Opener, oh my gosh, scary. Second attempt, nothing to see here. What did we get with the third? She's taking small jumps, 2.5 kilos. She's done more previously. This should be within her means. Oh, she's a fighter though, isn't she, Amelia?
Wow, what a tremendous effort. And 2-1.
Breathe some relief. Woo.
Gets a yellow from the center referee. Have a look at that in the replay.
Had to work for that one. Look at that. Never loses form though. Legs are shaking, but no butt lift, which is usually an infraction you see when the bar starts slowing down and someone needs to kick it into overdrive.
Fanciani still holding on to that bench press gold from the B group. Vidal, 105 kilos, a 2.5 kilo jump here, and has been pacing herself very nicely. This would further extend her personal best.
A little too much on the day, but already leaving the bench press session with a personal best.
Renee Magregui Rodriguez, 117.5 kilos. For the time being, we'll put her into bench press bronze. Still with 5 lifters to follow.
Nice third attempt.
That's called for depth from center and side referee this time round.
Take a look at that replay. Oh, we're getting close here.
Romy van Vienen, 117.5 kilos. Same weight, but a little heavier on the body weight, so bronze will stay with Alba Bostrom for the time being. We'll add 5 extra kilos to her total, however, should she make this. 3 white lights, a good lift.
120 on the bar for Alba Bostrom. Let's attempt to make changes for the openers for the 83s. Let's attempt to change openers. The bar is loaded. 120 for Alba Bostrom of Sweden.
120 kilos for Alba Bostrom takes her into bench press gold for the time being, but more importantly gains those extra 2.5 kilos. I'm sure not where she wanted to end up here on bench today, well below what she's capable of.
Actually looked a little cleaner. Oh, than her second, but there's why maybe it was a little higher. In terms of effort anyways, look a little easier.
And with Bernardi missing her second attempt and choosing to retake, there's still a pretty decent gap between the two of them heading into deadlifts. Bernardi will need to make this to give herself a chance of putting the pressure on Bostrom heading into deadlifts.
Should she hit 7.5 kilos towards her total and a gold in the bench press, still 2 more benchers left. Looks much better to be from that angle. 3 white lights, there it is, and that's a pivotal 7.5 when Alba missed her third. Chiara comes back, hits her third, and collects 7.5 more kilos.
The bar is
from Canada, 122.5 kilos, already has bench press bronze secured. This would give her at the very least the gold. Now the gold will stay with her. She's the lightest of the two to take this.
Not a bad souvenir from the IPF World Championships, a gold medal. 5 kilo jump based off her second. Sounds reasonable. Oh, and gold it is. I can only assume the judges. No, I assume not.
Have a look at that from the side angle. 2 yellows from the side referees usually indicate some sort of lift.
Let's take a look. Yeah. Yeah.
Still walks away with the bench press bronze, however, and looking for a shot at the bench press gold. It's this or nothing, and an extra 7.5 kilos on her total. Clara Isabel Heibera got called for elbow depth and overruled by the jury on her second. Can she fix it up enough now to walk away with that bench press gold?
To shoot up the rankings from 6th to 1st in the bench press event. Pivotal press here. Oh, wow. It looks good from this angle. Let's pause. There's one red. We must pause again for the jury.
Let's have a look here ourselves on the replay. Is it better than that second attempt?
I think so. Jury is deliberating.
And unfortunately he's been overruled to a no lift for Heibera. So loses out on that bench press medal, meaning Bernardi walks away with the bench press gold with 120. Cvanciani from the B group with silver and body weight behind Bernardi, and Maman with bench press bronze with 117.5.
And we enter into the men's 83 kilo bench press. Matisse, 75 kilos, can only assume there's some kind of an upper body injury. And he's taking a token opening press.
And I think that might have happened during warm-ups, because it looks like he's dropped that opening attempt quite significantly.
Hopefully it's just an upper body and he can still deadlift. Andres Fernandez Arevalo, 150 for his opening bench.
Duclair choosing to X out his final 2 attempts and making it that much quicker for his competitors. Already a speedy flight.
Some people say for sportsmanship, you keep a placeholder weight in there for 60 seconds for your competitors. Others would say this is sports. This is competition. 3 white lights. A saying 152.5. Hit a monster squat, 300 kilos. His best bench, 162.5.
Wow, very comfortable. And he's certainly been working on his bench a lot the last couple of years. Had out that total.
Have to pay close attention to that subtotal he's building. We do remember with that monster pole, he won the European Championships, beating Jurens Kingamo in a head-to-head. Calf before he's back. 175 kilos for his opening bench.
A little closer to his top end here on the bench press.
Yeah, the injury in the groin abductor area shouldn't impact his bench, and he does pull conventional. Won't impact his deadlift as well. Easy work.
It's a blue from the side referee. Have a look at that again in the replay, see what that might have been for.
The bar is loaded.
I'm not sure. Jurens Kengamu, former world champion, 182.5 for his opening bench.
Missed that final squat, which may just hurt him moving forwards, but there's a long day ahead yet.
Oh wow, that was a difficult opener. And I'm not sure how much more he's got in the tank. That looked more like a second or third. Concerning. This isn't something that's just affecting his squat at this point. Take a look at this. Brakes come on right before the lockout. And Jurens is suffering from something. Adeyo Masakin, 185 kilos for his opening bench. Just a stitch lower than we'd previously seen, but it's only an opener. Sometimes game plans change, and if you want to end up with a bigger bench, conversation might be, let's get a big one at the end. Let me conserve some energy. Easy work.
Very, very comfortable opener. And he's seen both Joe and Jurens miss now, so he knows he just needs to be consistent until it gets to those final deadlifts.
The bar is loaded.
Saverio Maggiano, 187.5.
Very slow but strong squatter. Let's see if that's any similar here on his bench.
Opening just 2.5 kilos below his personal best, and easy work.
The bar is loaded.
Kevin Fornstam of Sweden, 190 kilos for his opening bench.
Not too unusual to see a Swedish lifter coming out. It's one of the last lifters for bench.
Like the Japanese, they're famous for the bench press.
Of course, the only person to follow him, Joe Borenstein, who holds the current world record of 219 kilos.
And that could be a pivotal chip if Joe can take it today. $207.5. Reigning defending world champion Joe B. This is in and around where we're used to seeing him open. Left the squats with the 305. Also around what we're used to seeing.
Oh,
that is not what we're used to seeing. Wow.
And Ryan, that throws a spanner in the work.
What was that all about?
I think he says no to his coach. I don't know if he's saying I don't feel like I can do any more or go again, but I did see the signal of him saying, cut it.
Well, from Jurens to Joe B, these guys are treating their openers and making a move like thirds.
Well, it certainly looks good for Ade if he continues to be consistent.
We're looking at the projected, but we might be able to just toss that out the window with what we just saw. And a saying 162.5. You know, we've seen a saying load up something crazy, pulling for gold. At this point, I think we might see it again today with the subtotal he's building and some of the favorites faltering. Well,
That is a big grind.
oh my gosh, the crowd is trying to will him to lock out. Nope.
Maybe you spoke a little too soon there, Ryan, but I mean, looking at the projected currently, it is a lot closer than it was initially, with misses from Jurens and Joe. Ade currently being pretty consistent still.
I mean, Ade got a PR squat and looked good in his opener. If you were Ade Omasakin, you have to be very happy with what you're seeing and how you're feeling. Aravalo 165 in a session that is shocking. And you got to think the French scratching out their second and thirds, making it even more difficult with a quicker turnaround for some of these lifters that are genuinely struggling and could use some respite. 2-1, it's good.
A blue from that center referee. Let's have a look at that again. Perhaps for the elbows, we'll have to see how they look at lockout.
Oh, no. Oh, that you know what, that left didn't look like the right. Kafri Hachoyame, 182.5. 7.5 kilo jump. Well, that got overturned by the jury, and if I'm honest, that left elbow did unlock. Close to top end for the King of the North. Long range of motion. No question on that bench depth. 3 white lights. Look at that bench depth from that angle.
No reds coming anytime soon.
No, not anytime soon. The jury can take a coffee when Kafri comes up the bench. Jurens Kingamu, 187.5. 182 was very slow. But he's coming back out because he might need these 5 kilos. Great Britain also saw Joe B.
Again, another miss. And he looks like he's in a bit of pain with his elbow there.
There is something going on. No, he is full on in pain as he leaves the platform. But Jurens, Matt Gary probably saw what happened to Joe B and discussed, look, if you could give it another go, today might be the day.
And if I'm being completely honest, I'm not sure we're going to see Joe Borenstein again today for the bench press.
Yeah, he's got 210 for a second, just 2.5 kilos going up. Maybe he comes out for those 2.5 kilos, thinks he might need it. As Margiano will attempt 195. I don't know where we're going to end up with these totals. Ade looks strong. We talk 900 kilos leading in.
Elbow depth call here. The center referee. And I'd be surprised if the jury touch that. Looks pretty clean to me.
Ade Omasakin, 197.5.
And where Jurens and Joe are missing, can he hit?
His PR bench is 202.5, and because Jurens and Joe are missing, he doesn't need to get too crazy here and extend too much. Very good, smooth second attempt. If you feel pressed like you need to catch up and they're all rocking and rolling around you, yes, you take some risks because they're hitting. But if they're missing, just hold form and don't miss yourself by overextending. The Brits are usually good at that.
And on subtotal, that only separates them by 2.5 kilos, talking Borenstein and Amasakin.
We had warned this was far closer than the projected would have told you. Those projected often lie. 197.5.
And will that then force Borenstein to try and take that 2.5 kilo jump?
This is where I think Borenstein will come out for it because he thinks, and I think he's right, he's going to need it. Kevin works his way through a couple sticking points. 3 white lights.
Moves into bench press silver for the time being.
If Borenstein doesn't come out, it's because he's got some kind of an injury. No, there he is. And you know what? I would have been pretty surprised.
Doesn't necessarily mean that it isn't there, but with the pressure he's got on him.
Look, he's one tough kid, and he knows he needs these kilos.
Looking for all the help he can get there from the spotter.
Maybe it was handoff. We have seen people have a super struggle opener, come back and smoke their second attempt. Could happen here. Didn't with Jurens. Nope. Something's going on. And I don't think we're going to see him come back yet. He just gave the "we're all done here."
Yeah, and I think that was to be expected. I think the plan initially probably was to not come out, and then after seeing Jurens miss and Ade make his,
the pressure was on, and hats off to him. He stepped up when he thought he needed to. As we look at the running order, 207.5, gold for bench anyways, but that's not what he's looking for. Kevin, this is what he's looking for in the projected, and look how close we are now. Dead even with Jurens still within striking distance. Asane, 162.5.
was a big grind on his second, which unfortunately did not complete. Oh!
What the? Now,
okay.
If he is, maybe his butt came up. We'll have to see from the side view.
He gets a blue from the center referee. Got a split view here.
It's hard to tell if his butt came up. I'm not sure what we're seeing.
I can't see the blue, but the jury seem happy with at least one of those calls.
Andres Fernandez Arevalo of Spain, 165 once again, missed it on his second. Joe Borenstein scratching his third. This is a really quick turnaround, and that's actually gamesmanship to force Ade to come out a lot sooner than he would have liked. Or actually, no, he's at the end.
Very comfortable looking third, and it should be, it was his second attempt number.
3 white lights.
Manages to pick that 165 up this time round.
However this unfolds, I think we're all going to remember this one. Is Lithuania where the Americans get upset by the Brits. 187.5 for Kafui Hachiyame. 5 kilo jump. $2.5 kilo personal best. I like he might have gave it away there. The crowd is booing. I'm not sure what happened.
Not sure if he clipped the rack or misheard the start command. Again, we can't hear anything on this replay, so hard to
He might have
say.
clipped the rack, or yeah. The crowd was upset. 187.5. Jerns Kangamu, I'm assuming he's going to let the clock wind down, and it gives us a minute to try to unpack the battle that we're seeing here. Amelia, this was not what we expected. Jerns Kangamu only getting one bench in and 2 squats. Joe B missing his opener, hitting 2 squats, back on track, relatively. Not a PR, but still in the hunt, and only 1 bench.
Yeah, this is certainly not where we expected to be, and we knew that the Brits would be pushing Joe, but I don't think they expected it to be quite as close this early on. And with Joe going 1 for 3 on bench and 2 for 3 on squat, he's not put himself in a strong position in the lead going into deadlift. He's going to really have to hit.
Now, there was discussion, because in the projected they're at 852.5 each. That takes into account their deadlift openers. Who deadlifts more, Joe B or Ade? Because it looks like that's what it's going to come down to. And needless to say, just how important the attempt selection is going to be on deadlifts to reach but not overreach.
And on occasion, Joe Bernstein has struggled to make all 3 deadlifts, and today is going to be the day that he'll really have to do so.
200 kilos even. Kevin moving up 2.5 kilos from the second attempt.
This would keep bench press silver safe from Ronaldo Matiano. Big fight there for Fornston. Two to 1, a good lift with an elbow depth call from the center referee.
Margiano back, 200 kilos, stays on the bar for the Italian.
Looking third there, moving him into bench press silver as he's lighter than Fornston.
Now this final bench, 205 for Adeyemo Masakin, will move his subtotal to 510. Joe B is at 512.5, just 2.5 kilos separate them. And a lot of people believe Joe B is at around 377.5 for deadlift. Ade is at around 380, just 2.5 kilos separate their deadlift. Neck and neck is this race, with Ade being slightly lighter.
It looks like the Napu knee.
Oh, the crowd is going crazy.
And where Joe Borenstein is missing, Adeyemo Masakin is hitting attempt after attempt.
Do you believe Druskininkai, Lithuania, once again, you feel something in the air.
There's got to be something in the water.
Oh my gosh.
It's very reminiscent with Russ versus Durans, with some younger versions of themselves.
Once again, the rivalry between USA and Britain, and a potential upset in the making, but we got some lifting left to go. Look at that subtotal now that Ade hit that. He's got a 5 kilo spread. And some people believe the heavier deadlift, you add that up, does it become academic? Only time will tell.
The deadlift is the ultimate test of strength. So you basically just try to lift as much as you can from the ground. It goes beyond just doing the physical movement. It's more so a test to myself. Now it's my time to prove who I truly am, not only as an athlete, but as a person. So you start by grabbing the barbell, and you initiate with using both your legs, your core, and your back to lift ground. And then you want to lift the bar until you lock out your knees and your hip joints. In the start of a deadlift, you grab the barbell with both of your hands. You can either stand sumo or conventional. Sumo is when you have your feet outside of your arms. And conventional, you have your feet in between your arms, you could say. So you have your arms outside of your legs. So it's really important when you perform a deadlift in a competition setting that you follow the bar all the way down to the platform. It varies a lot depending on what part of my training season I am in. Maybe I lift 260 kilograms for 5 or 6 repetitions, and I do that for 3 or 4 rounds. So I average around 5 and 6 tons per session. Becoming a better human being, becoming a better athlete involves failure. It involves stumbling on your goals. But it's about picking yourself up again and just keep going. Keep going, no matter what. And you don't stop until you reach your goal.
And welcome back to Druskininkai, Lithuania for the IPF World Championships. 63 kilo women, 83 kilo men. Amelia, oh my goodness. And we had a bit of a shake-up. The women is very close. A huge shake-up on the men's side, but first the women.
Yeah, and like you said, both camps a lot closer than we expected, although looking at these subtotals, Bernardi and Bostrom quite close. Bostrom, however, has upped her opening attempt on deadlift in an attempt to make sure that gap is much further. Should these ladies both make their opening attempt, which we would expect and hope, they would be separated by 20 kilos, you can see here. And then the fight for podium between Abora and Van Vienen, much closer. Vidal definitely not counted out that race either. Vanciani competed earlier on today. Kicking us off, Clara Isabel Haberer from Germany, 165 kilos. Clean looking opening attempt for Haberer. Had a bit of an unfortunate time on bench, losing some kilos out to elbow depth. Yone Magregi Rodriguez from Spain, opening on 175 kilos. Three wide lights, a good lift, and as all 8 lifters have secured a squat and a bench with their opening deadlift, should it be successful, they secure that total and start taking some slightly bigger risks should they need to in the second and third.
Yeah, especially if some of these ladies are in contention for medals, podium placings. You don't want to get too ambitious with your opener.
Leah Maman from Canada, 177.5 kilos.
Nice pull there. 3 wide lights.
Romy van Vienen from the Netherlands, 187.5 kilos. A personal best of 200.
Nice smooth opener.
And she might be fighting her teammate for that podium position. She's been super consistent today and currently on projected just 5 kilos behind Betty. Nikita Vidal from Great Britain, also in the fight for that podium, not so far behind. 190 kilos on the bar. We've seen Makita hit as much as 207.5 kilos. She's hit a PB on both squat and bench so far, and if she continues that trend, she really is a big threat to the Dutch girls for that podium.
Nice opening pull.
Three opening attempts remaining, first of which Chiara Bernardi from Italy, looking to put the pressure on Alba. And speaking to her before the competition, the plan was just to hit a bigger total she can and stick as close to Alba as she could. She had no intention of getting as close as she potentially might be today.
This is interesting. So she's pulling conventional. Historically used to seeing her pull sumo. If she's pulling conventional, I don't want to read into it too much. She's pulling 200 kilos.
We'll have to see how it pans out. Chiara really brings a lot of energy to the deadlift, as we'll see as the weight goes up, and she's going to need it.
Last year she opened with 215 and was pulling sumo.
Alba Bostrom, 215 kilos, upped this attempt, trying to keep that gap between her and Bernardi big enough that Bernardi looks to stay in that silver.
That's trouble. 215 moves like that. And that's the exact same opener she hit when she totaled 582.5. Looks like deadlifts are on point for Alba Bostrom.
And who else to open deadlifts up last than the world record holder herself from the Netherlands, Betty Abora. First year in the Opens here, fighting for a podium spot. 215 kilos on the bar. Her world record standing at 241. Look how she makes this fly.
Easy work.
And it's such a technically efficient lift. She really conserves a lot of energy in the way that she lifts. Imagine to see a pretty decent sized jump from Betty. And that concludes the opening round. All 8 lifters securing at that total. Abora leading the deadlifts ahead of Bostrom and Stevens from the B group, subject to change as we head through to the second round. Bostrom still leading the pack, 20 kilos ahead of Bernardi. Abora, Van Vienen, both fighting for that bronze with Vidal. And as we head into the second round, Clara Isabel Hebera, 180 kilos, a 15 kilo jump, and making it look like nothing at all. Leah Maman, 187.5 kilos. 10 kilo jump here for Leah.
Just 2 kilos below her personal best. Another smooth attempt by the Canadian.
And we're moving quickly through Yone Magregui Rodriguez from Spain, 190 kilos, a 15-kilo jump to her second. Even off the podium, these ladies are going to be fighting for position, trying to get those all-important team points. So where you may not see a battle, they absolutely will.
Nice second pull. Handles that 15-kilo jump well. Moves her total to 480.
The bar is being cleaned now for Romy van Vienen. The bar will be cleaned in between every third deadlift attempt, but can be requested at any point by the lifter or the coach. 195 now. Pulls her ahead of Abora for the time being, with Abora to follow. That is a good lift, 3 white lights. It's going to be hard to keep pace with her teammate Abora in the deadlifts.
Yeah, the thing that Betty has in terms of an advantage, she's going to pull last. She knows exactly the weight she needs to put on that bar in her third and final pull to get herself onto that podium.
Makeda Vidal, 207.5 kilos here. Big jump for Makeda to her current best deadlift. So already would be a total personal best for Makeda, hitting PBs in squat, bench, and now the total, should this go well. The deadlift also. So pull her to bronze overall for the time being. 3 white lights, a good lift.
Team Britain doing what they can to give her the best possible pathway for a podium.
Chiara Bernardi now taking a 15-kilo jump to 215. Like you said, a bit of a switch up in her form here, and maybe this is the magic number she needs.
She usually pulls sumo. If I remember correctly, she pulled conventional at the Sheffield event, left that event with 217.5. If that's going to be around her top end, it's going to be real tough to catch up to Alba, and that is going to be... This is not her usual pulling style. 232.5, the previous personal best. It's not going to be done conventionally.
And I've got to say, does that potentially open up the door for Abora to push for a silver instead of a bronze?
What Chiara has in her favor is other people will threaten Abora if she wants to pull for silver. I'm not saying she won't, but she's got to look behind her as well.
Interestingly enough, Betty opting only for a 10-kilo jump when we know her top end is about 16 kilos above this at the world record.
I will say, when she hit 241, she did make that pit stop at 225 for a second, so maybe still pacing for a 241 final pull, but we got to see how 225 moves, right?
Perhaps can't hit that top end too many times. It is the most a 63 has ever lifted before.
Yeah, she's missed 241.5. I mean, it's a 50-50 proposition. It's top end.
Yeah, that was only just in March. Let's see how this moves, and then she can wait and see what she needs to do after Bernardi, Vidal, and Van Vienen have taken their third attempt.
I'm not sure on the day if her top end is going to be world record. She doesn't look overly enthused herself.
No, you're right, Ryan. She threw her head back after that in frustration, and you've got to think maybe that jump that we saw last time round at Junior Euros, which actually was here itself last year, is not quite there.
I think she's got to defend bronze, leave Chiara in silver medal position, and I don't think Chiara's going to be contesting against Alba.
No, especially if this 230 moves well. I think Alba has, with that opener, chalked it up. Alba Bostrom, 230 kilos. Started the day a little tough with that bench press, but ending pretty strong here with the deadlift. 3 white lights. And just too far now for Bernardi to catch up to, especially with that missed second attempt in strength.
And it really does look like Bernardi likely too far ahead for Betty. But Betty will be pressed for that bronze medal.
And we conclude the second round, heading into the third round. Bostrom leading the deadlifts. More importantly, we can see how close Abora and Vidal are currently. Van Vienen just behind them. It is going to be a fight right until that final pull where Abora has the last say. And we head now into that final round. Clara Isabel Haberer from Germany, 190 kilos. This would give her a top 6 position.
Oh, stapled to the ground.
And we've seen a big final attempt put in by Bostrom. You know it's a placeholder because it's 300 kilos, and although maybe a couple ladies in this room are capable of it, they are in the crowd. Leah Maman from Canada, 195 kilos. This would move her overall rank to 7th for the time being. Strong final pull for Maman.
Moving her total to 487.5.
Megabegi Rodriguez from Spain, looking for that 200 kilo milestone. And what better place to do it here? It will also move her overall into 6th. Pushing Maman down to 7th.
Nice final pull. Oh, but called 2-1.
Gets a red from the center referee for insufficient lockout and yellow from the far side referee. Let's have a look at that again here in the replay, Ryan.
Well, it looked like it started coming out of her hands a bit. If she rushed the down command, I know she did get a yellow. I'm not entirely sure. I didn't see the other shoulder as well.
I could definitely argue the case for that being overruled. The coach hasn't gone to the jury, but they're still discussing it as we move forward to Romy van Vienen from the Netherlands. 2:05 on the bar in an attempt to pull onto the podium for the time being. She's the first to pull out of those fighting for the podium, so to get this is all she can do and then just wait. But if she does get this, she will pull into that position, if even so momentarily.
Betty struggled with her second attempt. Vidal is definitely at her top end. Time to seize that moment. Can't get it past the knees. It was definitely worth a shot.
Absolutely. At the World Championships, if you have a chance to go for an overall podium spot, you're going to do it. And of course, as expected, the attempt changes have started to come in. Keep our eye on who that's from. Makeda Vidal has upped her final pull.
217.5. Curious. Her best previously was 207.5. That's a good 10 kilo personal best if she can hit it.
They can't force Betty to pull first, so perhaps looking at what Bernardi is doing, giving herself the best chance. Currently, Chiara Bernardi, 215 on the bar. Missed this on strength in her second. It went up a little wonky. Can she fix that a little bit here? No.
In terms of that move, I think they're banking on Betty does not have 235 in her. And they're going to force Betty to load up.
Makeda is heavier than Betty Abora by 0.05 of a kilo. So matching her total would not be enough. This would give her 515, and like you said, cause Betty to load up. Currently they're matched on total. 217.5 for Vidal for a very strong shot of that bronze medal position overall.
10 kilo personal best, it's not crazy. People hit personal bests all the time.
She breaks the floor. Can she do it?
Huge final pull!
Look at the heart on her.
Gosh!
3 white lights, a good lift, and she does it. She forces the hand of Betty Abora and she pulls herself into bronze overall. And of course, we have seen that attempt change come in from Netherlands to the 235 you said before, Ryan.
We got to be honest. The way 225 moved, 10 more kilos, I think Britain might have just did a master class. At the very least, they put Makeda in the best possible position because Betty is really up against it, but she's a lion herself. She might be able to summon the strength.
Makeda got everything she could out of the day, hitting personal bests on every single discipline. Although second was a little tough. If anybody has the strength for a deadlift like this, it is Abora. She holds the world record, 235 on the bar. This will pull her onto the podium, pushing Makeda Vidal down to 4th overall on body weight.
What a finish. What a finish. Can she pull it off?
Almost there. Can she finish it off? It looks like she does.
It looks like Betty's replied and answered that call. What a great finish and a battle for the podium.
That leaves Abora in bronze, Bernardi in silver. Abora not able to protect that world record deadlift, and by the looks of things, Ryan, it's not safe. Alba Bostrom from Sweden, already your 2026 IPF World Champion in the 63s, wants to cap the day off with a 569 total and a 241.5 deadlift, chipping the world record, taking it away from Abora.
Alba has the world title and she wants that world record.
On a day she couldn't put out her biggest numbers on bench, still coming out victorious and looking to take a world record nonetheless. And it smiles from start to end.
Yeah.
Alba Bostrom, 3 white lights, your world champion and new deadlift world record holder.
Such a dominant performance by that young lady, ruling over the division.
To be able to come out with a significant handicap and still dominate so hard, taking away another world record. What a day. Vidal walking away with deadlift bronze. Abora with silver, and with a new world record, Alba Bostrom. And overall, your bronze medalist from the Netherlands, Betty Abora, with 5:15. Your silver medalist, Chiara Bernardi from Italy, with 5:22.5. And with a dominating performance from Sweden, your 2026 world champion, Alba Bostrom, with the 5:69 total. Wow, what a session.
She is going to be a tough one to catch. And on to the 83 kilo men's division for the dramatic conclusion.
Dramatic indeed, Ryan.
In between the bench press and deadlifts, I took a stroll through the crowd, and there is a lot of people thinking today is the day Ade Elmasakin is going to seize the title. But Joe B is not going down without a fight. 290. Kevin Fornstam of Sweden.
Lovely tidy opener from Fornstam, and a good lift secures his total. And with that, Borenstein knows the pressure is on. He has upped his opening deadlift to 345. He knows he's going to have to pull something big to stay ahead of Ade.
Yeah, he's actually behind on the subtotal, so he's got to outpull Ade. Not what we're used to seeing. Usually Ade is the one forced to pull last. Margiano, 295.
Very patient off the floor, clean looking sumo. With a good lift. And speaking of big deadlifters upping their opening attempt, it looks like Enohiro Asane also has done so.
The fact that Enohiro is opening with 355, one can only wonder where he thinks he's going to end up. Andres, 300 kilos even.
And secures that world record squat in the juniors.
I'm going to make a prediction. I think I think Enohoro's definitely pulling for a medal. More than likely gold is out of reach. But depending on what happens with these gentlemen, if they start reaching and overreaching, well, we'll park it with just bronze for now. Mathis Ducret.
Only took his bench opener.
310. Yeah. Something upper body injury, but judging by the 310 and he's pulled 342.5, probably back on pace for deadlifts.
And it seems so with that opening attempt, yeah. 3 wide lights, a good lift.
The bar is loaded.
Calf weight 310 makes easy work of that.
Not messing around, he was on and off quicker than you could say his name.
Jerens Kingamu, 332.5 for his opening pull. This will put his total at 827.5.
Jerens a little further behind right now than he'd want to be. He's pulled it back before, but Ade is looking very strong today. Borenstein upping his opening attempt, certainly putting the pressure on.
Makes easy work of 332.5. That's encouraging. He usually opens around 330 to 335, and that looked like an appropriate opener.
And actually, when he beat Russ a couple years back in Lithuania, 332.5 was his second attempt.
Ade Omasakin, 335 for his opening pull. Last year's World Championship opened with 337.5. Missed his next two lifts, but this is a new Ade.
We've seen him deadlift as much as 363 kilos.
And in prep for this, we've seen 380.
Wow. And I'm sure Team USA are watching there in the wings. Let's see how Joe answers, Ryan.
Joe Borenstein, 345 kilos for his opening pull. We have seen him at American Nationals open with 352.5, but this is still a rather big opening pull for Joe. Obviously feeling the pressure. Whatever happened in the bench press event, his squat was on point. All is not lost yet if his deadlift is still there. Well, looks good.
No breakdown whatsoever. It seems like Ryan, his deadlift is in fact still there. It's going to be interesting.
Ade has a second attempt of 365. If he hits it, his total is at 882.5. Joe B right now is at 857.5. We're waiting for his second attempt to hit the scoreboard.
It's a big jump from Ade, and that really is going to put the pressure on hard on Team USA and Borenstein.
372.5 for Joe B will put his total to 885. You see Ade chasing Joe B. Joe B trying to stay ahead of him. And Horo is saying 355.
If anyone's going to attempt a crazy deadlift for the podium, it's going to be this young man.
Easy work of 355.
Crowd favorite indeed. At the very least, you'll always get a show and a big pull.
Looking at the deadlifts as they stand, and Ahoro in the lead, no surprise there. Joe B followed by Ade. But in the projected, Borenstein in the lead. Sorry, not projected, the current total. Ade slightly behind. Endurance Kangamu. This is the projected. If they hit all their seconds. Joe trying to keep the lead here. Issue being 372.5 for a second. That's really close to his top end. How many top end lifts does he have? Rarely lands that third. And 310 for Margiano of Italy.
Seems to be struggling to hold it there at the lockout. Yeah, unfortunately 2-1, no lift for lockout there. And the thing is, Borenstein, inconsistent with the amount of pulls that he can get, but sometimes Omasakin has been the same.
Well, that's a fair statement. Joe's landed 2 of his last 5 third attempts, but in this current scenario, Ade's 365 second attempt looks well within his means, where Joe's 372.5 feels like it's well closer to his top end, and that'll only put him 2.5 kilos over Ade.
Yeah.
you kind of see.
I mean, the biggest pull we've seen from Joe's 377.5, so that's quite a push for a second.
And he'll have to do it back to back. It's a tough one. We'll have to see. 3:15, Kevin Fornstam of Sweden.
Still extremely comfortable after a pretty hefty jump there for Fornstam. 3 white lights, a good lift. And honestly, all across the board, a flight of pretty impressive pullers.
The bar is loaded.
$320 now. Andres Fernandez Arevalo of Spain.
Nerve setting in a little bit here. Composes himself for that pull. 20 kilo jump to match his personal best in the second.
Three white lights and a smooth second attempt. $330 for Matisse.
$20 kilo jump here.
Handles it well, and still 12.5 kilos behind his personal best. And Caffrey has stormed out like a madman to 330 kilos and makes easy work of it.
You're going to have to get the introduction in quicker next time, Ryan. He is not waiting around for it.
He's got an Uber waiting. I think he's in a foul mood. Squats. He was injured, couldn't let it all out. Bench. Not entirely sure what happened with his third, to be honest. But a little bit of anger goes a long way when it comes to lifting weights. Jurns Kangamo, 350 kilos.
Can Jurns bring that intensity here on this second pull? Looks like he might be protecting the bronze from Enahoro instead of pushing for the silver.
And that is an old rivalry that goes many years back.
Now I say that, of course, that is dependent on Omisaka and Borenstein making those second pulls, but Jurns just needs to focus on going 3 for 3 if he can on the deadlifts, see where he can end up.
Yeah, he'll keep his options open if he can hit this. And he does.
It's a good lift, 3 white lights, 10 kilos below the biggest deadlift we've seen Jurns successfully hit.
I seen Matt Gary look in the crowd, ask 10, nod his head. I think they're going up 10 kilos, matching that previous personal best, unless somebody misses or hits something big along the way and they feel threatened or see some opportunity. As we take a look at the projected as they stand, Joe B with a tentative lead by 2.5 kilos, but we think he's very close to his top end, and we think in terms of deadlifts, and we think Ade Omisaka is not. Jurns Kangamo, 360, definitely top end, and Hussein, anybody's guess.
Yeah, and that's considering that is everybody's second attempt except Enohoro's third in the fight between Kengame and Hussein.
365 for Ade. We've seen him hit 380 in the gym.
And he is a threat.
Yeah, that looks like a second attempt should. I think that 15 kilos is there should he need it. I'm not sure what he's going to need. He's only 2.5 kilos behind Joe Bornstein. Joe Bornstein is loading 372.5, and historically speaking, he's only 5 kilos up from there. I don't know if Ade needs that extra 15 kilos. That's the problem.
Question is, how is Joe Bornstein going to make this look? Will it be as easy as that second for Ade?
I'd be surprised. This is definitely top end. At last year's World Championship, Joe's final pull, I believe was this, if I'm not mistaken. Pulling up my stats here. Yeah, it was 372.5. So this is top end.
Oh, and he throws his belt off in anger. He knows that might be end game for him, especially with how Omasakin's second deadlift moved.
And we got to be honest here. If he rests with 5 or 857.5, Jurins might just up his final pull 2.5 kilos, beat him on body weight, and take that silver medal.
Well, Bornstein's slightly lighter.
Oh, sorry,
Kengurum's going to have to do a little bit more.
But he probably will up that final then 5 kilos, unless they want to defend bronze. But a win over Bornstein.
Yeah, and talking about hit rates on deadlifts, although impressive in weight, and Enohoro Hussein's hit rate not always so strong, and he's taking the world record for a spin on his second, so that puts the question to Kengame.
383. Absolutely insane. World record deadlift.
It belongs to him. He hit it at Euros in 2023.
And if you ask, people believe he's capable of anywhere from this 383 all the way up to 400 and beyond.
Wow.
Nails it.
3 white lights they could lift and a new world record, and Ryan Jurins Kengame might have to look to protect that bronze.
That moves Hussein to 835.5. Jurins at 845. Very close. Here's the problem. Joe B at 857.5. Also reasonably close, and there's a lot of tough decision making that needs to be done.
It's a game of not just who's strongest, but a little bit of a game of chicken here. You know, someone's going to have to pull first and make those risks. Look at those numbers.
At this point, with Joe B missing 372.5, I know they have 388.5 for his third.
But talk about a Hail Mary.
You got to start talking realistically. We have seen some people come back and hit 310 for Margiano.
Just glued to the floor there, unfortunately. I've just seen the number that Enohoro has put in for the time being, and at this point with him, I don't know if that's a placeholder or not.
400 kilos? No, I absolutely believe it. I've seen him attempt over 400 kilos before. And that would nudge him past Jurins onto the podium. 325 for Andreas.
a total and deadlift PB here for Andreas.
Oh, he's...
Yeah, I fear if he even locked that out, it might have gotten blues there.
.332 now being loaded for Sweden's Kevin Fornstam.
To be a 17.5 kilo personal best on both deadlift and on total. What an end to the day that would be. And also, for the time being, move him into that top 5 position. Ahead of Cathway.
Big effort, slows right around the knees, and just at lockout.
Unfortunately not there. I've got to say, Ryan, you can really feel the tension building in this room for these final pulls.
An attempt change. .342.5 for Kafui Hachiyame of Canada. This will move his total to an even 815. Kafui secure in his top 5 position. This will also equal a personal best for Kafui.
To be able to equal your best total after not coming in the strongest on squat is quite the feat.
No, he lost a good 15-20 kilos on squat.
And that bench as well, so really very impressive. He's this strong regardless.
He's definitely progressing and getting stronger.
Consistently in the A group as well.
Locks it out and gonna swing around and give a thanks to the judges.
Does get a red from the center referee for insufficient lockout, but is it safe with that?
As it stands with the projected, if 388.5 doesn't get moved, that'll move Joe B to 901. Add a 382.5 for 900. Jurens 360 to 855. Inaharo 400 kilos, 852.5. You got to think if you're going to load 400, you might as well just load a little more. If Jurens hits, and you know he's going to, you know Inaharo's going to, I mean to say,
yeah,
he'll
absolutely
bump it up. Matisse 352.5.
This for the time being move him into deadlift bronze. That's why they would have bumped that up, hoping someone else misses.
Oh, just doesn't get those shoulders back.
And now the final 4 deadlifts, and boy are they important.
Yeah, this is going to be an exciting final 4 pulls as Jurens Kingamu is coming out to 360 kilos, looking to move his total from 845 to 855, hoping that's just out of reach for Inaharo. And who knows where Inaharo's top end is on a good day, and he is having a good day.
Yeah, certainly with deadlift, and you've got to think how much less he would have had to put on the bar if he got those 2 benches. And this time he wants noise. 2 years ago he wanted silence in the
That's
room, and this
right.
time he wants the energy. He needs it.
It actually became part of his trademark.
Sometimes you have to evolve. And it's not there, unfortunately, which means Enahoro can drop from that 400.
He can, but does he? I mean, this is crazy. Does he wait, see what happens to Joe B, and potentially increase to also go after Joe B? I mean, yes, he can drop, and that would be somewhat reasonable, but we've seen the craziest. Joe B dropping to 372.5. This will move his total from 857.5 to 885, just ahead of Ade, who is currently at 882.5. So temporarily moving him into first place. This is the same 372.5 he had missed on the second.
Now, even to come back and get this 372.5 based off that second, that in itself would be quite the feat, because he barely broke that off the ground. But if he misses this, the crown will be at Ayamasakins. There's a lot of pressure on Joe's shoulders right now.
Yeah, for the title, it's right now. Now or never. He misses, he loses his title. And once again, an upset in the battle between Britain and USA and Druskininkai, Lithuania. But Joe B looks different this time, Amelia.
Yeah, and he wants the energy from the crowd, and Ryan, he's going to need every ounce of it. He is hyping himself up because he knows if this doesn't budge, that title has been lost.
Yeah, Joe B looks a lot more fired up for this one. Much on the day.
Unfortunately, it isn't, and somewhat reminiscent of a couple of years ago in Lithuania. He did all he could, and I know that we're going to see this battle over and over again in the years to come. But wow.
Ade attempting 382.5 to be the first lifter to total 900 kilos in the 83 kilo class at the IPF World Championship, bumping the world record.
Already, your new 83 kilo world champion wants to pick up another accolade, another shiny title with that.
It would be a statement. There's Rondell Hunt in the crowd enjoying.
And as Ade has called himself and has now delivered, inevitable.
Well, at times today, it certainly did feel inevitable. Can he be the first to take the world record to 900 kilos? Not today, but Ade, nevertheless, clinching his first world title, and the rivalry continues.
But we're not quite done yet,
No.
Brian. The podium is not set.
Enaharo, talking about rivalries, loading 392.5 to bring his total to 845 and renew his rivalry with Jurens Kingamu. He will bump Jurens off of the podium. And the way 383 moved, you gotta think 392.5 is definitely in the conversation. When you're that heavy, how much is another 10 kilos?
Well, I guess we'll have to find out, because this is for everything. Like you said, the world record and the bronze overall, knocking Jurens down. We knew if anybody could do it, it would be Anna Horo.
Does the Miracle Man have one more miracle? Oh! Just at the knees.
Unfortunately, not today, but we still believe that one day. But what a session that was, with only one successful final pull.
And that was Kafwe, who was a madman stepping out there. The deadlifts, and Ahoro leaving with the world record and the gold medal at a 365, good enough for silver, but also the world title. And Jerns Kangamu, 350 kilos for that bronze. Overall, though, this is really the conversation. 882.5 for Ade Omasakin. Joe Bornstein, unseeded as world champion, settling for silver. And Jerns Kangamu, former world champion, taking that bronze medal with 8:45. What a battle it was, Amelia. I'm sure everyone online will be discussing this one.
Powerlifting at this point in my life means so much and so much more than I ever thought that it could.
It's really cool. We interact really well, and there's a lot of love.
Especially as a woman, you know, you feel very capable and strong. The years before this was, you know, a male-dominant sport. Females have come into the sport and, you know, we're showing that we can be really strong and capable too. So that's a really good feeling.
It's not only something that I love to do as a sport, but it's so many friends, I've seen so many things, and I've had so many opportunities that I never ever dreamed I could have.
It's really cool to come to people from France or Italy or Germany or Japan, and we all have this commonality of wanting to be strong and better powerlifters, and it kind of brings us together.
Everything has to match, especially we, as physios or as coaches, we try to maximize what the athletes can perform in this time frame, and we try to give our best.
So they can do their best.
It's really cool that now I have friends in a community across the world, opposed to just like within my city, and like we get along great. I message them all the time on like Instagram or whatever the case may be, just like check in. The silver lining to it all, it teaches you to continue to work. It teaches you that there's still stuff to be done. It pushes you to be better, to do more. Sometimes if you're at the top, you can get complacent. And that's a wrap. Let's go see the competition.
And entering the stage, the 63 kilo athletes that battled just earlier.
Yeah, what a couple of fights we saw in both the 63s and the 83s.
Especially on the 63 kilo women's side, the battle for bronze, right up to the very last pull. Betty was pressed, and she answered the call.
And even with somewhat of a taxed bench, what a dominating performance from Alba Bostrom.
Yeah, the reign of Alba Bostrom feels like an era. And we do need to give kudos to Chiara, who obviously is dealing with some kind of an injury, forced to pull conventional as opposed to her regular style of sumo, still able to grab that silver medal.
The bronze medal with 195 kilos goes to Nikita Vidal, Great Britain.
First, the squat medals. Nikita Vidal of Great Britain with the bronze. 195 kilos.
The silver medal with 202.5 kilos goes to Chiara Bernardi, Italia.
Chiara Bernardi, 202.5, representing Italy, taking the silver medal in squats.
Goes to Alba Bostrom, Sweden.
And of course, reigning world champion Alba Bostrom, 210 kilos, gold.
The 63 kilo class, so heavily stacked at the moment.
Thank you, ladies. Congratulations. In the bench press event with 117.
And in the bench press event,
Pretty unusual not to see Alba up on that podium.
no kidding, Leah Maman of Canada, 117.5.
The bronze medal, the silver medal, with 120 from the B group, Sofito Cacciani, Georgia.
Sopico of Georgia, 120 kilos, taking silver on body weight. And in bench gold, Chiara Bernardi of Italy, 120 kilos.
Thank you, ladies. Congratulations.
And the deadlift event.
Bronze medal goes to
Nikita Vidal with 217.5 kilos, taking the bronze.
She got absolutely everything she could out of that deadlift and deserves that medal.
That 217 really forced the hand of Betty, who's taking the silver medal here in the deadlift event with 235.
Deadlift gold with 241.5 kilos and a new deadlift world record goes to Alba Bostrom of Sweden.
And of course, reigning world champion Alba Bostrom taking the world record and gold with a 241.5 kilo deadlift.
Thank you, ladies. Congratulations. In the total rankings, bronze medal
And the overall, coming in bronze, Betty Abora with 515, representing the Netherlands.
Managing to get on that podium just on body weight. Did exactly what she needed to do today to end up there.
Oh, try to get sneaky and hop on the silver medal.
That's one way of
platform.
doing it.
vice champion with 522.5 kilos goes to Chiara Bernardi, Italia.
And Chiara Bernardi of Italy, 522.5, coming in silver.
And with 569 kilos in total, your 63 kilos.
And of course, reigning world champion, two-time world champion, Alba Bostrom.
And it feels full circle as well. You know, it was her first Open Worlds here a couple of years ago where she didn't have the greatest competition, and look at her now.
What a difference 2 years can make.
For the Swedish national anthem.
The ladies gather for a couple pictures.
Beautiful moment there of sportsmanship.
And how many battles have Alba and Chiara already been in? And I'm sure we'll see them battling again.
And they welcome Betty into that fight now as well. And one more time we see the 63A group paraded through, and what a competition for them.
And the 83 kilo men wait in the wings to take the platform.
Led out by the new world champion, Ade Emasakin there.
Followed by the former world champion, Joe Borenstein. Ade can't keep the smile off his face.
And can you blame him?
Not even for a second.
And it all seems good and peaceful between the former and current world champion as they chat away there in the corner.
Oh, I'm glad you can't read lips. But I'm sure they will face off again.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the squad event, the bronze medal with 312.5 kilos goes to Ade Emasakin, Great Britain.
As for the squad event, Ade Emasakin, 312.5, taking the bronze, and that 312.5 really was the first indication he was going to have a banner day, hitting a personal best in that event. 312.5 for Naum.
We saw earlier today in the B group managing to get a silver medal.
Actually a junior and broke the junior world record doing so, later on broken again.
It didn't stick with him, unfortunately, his teammate.
That's right. And they have quite the junior squad in Spain, as Andreas Fernandez Araval with 315 taking squat gold and the junior world record.
Congratulations.
Imagine those two battling at the Spanish Nationals back home.
And the bench press event with 200 kilos. The bronze
Bench press
goes to Severino
in bronze. Margiano with a 200 kilo bench.
With 205 kilos, the silver medal goes to Ade Omisaki, Great Britain.
In silver, new world champion Ade Omisakin with 205 kilos.
And bench press gold with 207.5 kilos goes to Joe Borenstein, USA.
And gold medal, Joe Borenstein with a 207.5 kilo bench.
Yeah, I believe that was only his opener. Still managed to walk away with the bench press gold. Of course, the current world record holder in the bench press at that.
And the deadlift event for the bronze medal with 350 kilos, Jerens Kingamu of Great Britain.
Seemed a little surprised that he got that medal himself, but happy to walk away with it.
With 365 kilos, the silver medal, Ade Omisakin. And of course, a new world record of 383 kilos, Enoharo Asane of Hungary.
Not unusual to see Enoharo in that gold medal position on deadlift.
And in the overall, in the bronze medal position, living legend with 845 kilos, Jerens Kingamu. In the silver medal position, representing USA with an 857.5 kilo total, Joe Borenstein. And of course, Ade Omisakin winning the world title and the gold medal with an 882.5 kilo total.
And how well deserved was that after the day that he had.
Phenomenal gamesmanship by Team Britain as we stand for the British national anthem. As the three men cluster for some photos. And I'm sure we'll see them share the platform again.
And what a competition it was right until the very end, Ryan.
Each one of those men have had their turn winning the world title. And who will it be next time?
The 83